morning, Carmel. I'm Liam Brown. The current time is 8:02. We'll start today with sports with the boys hockey team who fell last night, but look to get back at it this weekend. And after falling to Libertyville, the volleyball team will have their next match on Tuesday versus Nazareth. The girls tennis team has an invitational tomorrow at Lakes. The boys golf team has an invitational tomorrow at the Lake Bluff Golf Course. And the boys soccer team will face Waukegan here tomorrow starting at noon. And the big event tonight, the football team will head down to #1 ranked Mount Carmel. We'll be right back with Donovan Day and Johnny Weber to talk about the game. But in the meantime, we caught up with the team behind the pep assembly to discuss what goes into all the fun.
Mr. Marina's falling
Tripping
on
and
his
falling.
face.
No, actually,
That
I
was-
think it was 2 years ago. There's
Mrs.
definitely videos of it. Mrs. Emily playing basketball.
Yeah,
Oh,
he made like a
He made a shot
three-pointer.
and then
Yeah.
he fell backwards.
It was
I think that was
sick.
awesome.
And he did a
That was
backwards
funny.
roll.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Oh, okay, I'm Zubeda.
My name is Medcal Curry.
Hey y'all, and I'm Chanel. I signed up on a link.
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
got
I
like
mean,
Oh wait, are you saying like how we like became like part of the boosters, or like how exactly we came?
Oh.
Yeah, of the link.
yeah,
Well-
it was through
well,
the
through-
student section.
yeah, through the student section, like,
Hosting it, I feel like it's
Yeah.
different when you're kind of behind the scenes and you're like just in the students or not the student section, but when you're on the bleachers instead of like being a part of it, like when you're emceeing, when you're hosting, when you're calling people, just like being a part of it, I feel like is more involving.
We planned
no,
for
but
about
she
2
like
weeks.
how long, like a couple of weeks, how many weeks?
So we had 2 meetings last week, and we had 2 meetings this week as well.
And a meeting today.
Yeah, and
So
then
it's
another one
everything.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
So we've had about like 6 meetings so far because we had
Yeah.
one the first week that we signed up.
Wear your spirit wear tomorrow.
Yes.
with your
There we
uniform
go.
bottoms.
Uniform
Yes,
bottoms,
uniform bottoms.
Uniform shoes,
And
all
make sure
of
it's
it.
an appropriate shirt, no hoodies.
name tags,
Yep.
and don't be tardy
Yep.
tomorrow.
Please
Don't
don't
be
be tardy.
Don't be late.
Be ready to cheer tomorrow. Let's go! All right, that's it. Sorry.
Let's never do that again. Cut the
No,
camera.
no, do that again.
Back. Now I'm joined with Donovan Day and Johnny Weber. So Donovan, we'll start with you. 28-14 win last week at Marmion. How big is it to get a conference win on the road?
I mean, it's really big. It's a great start to winning conference and just being a successful team.
All right, Johnny, you head down to Mount Carmel tonight. How important is it to play your game as a team?
You know, I mean, these are one of those big games that you got to methodically march down the field. Converting on third down is going to be huge. And once we get in the red zone, we're going to have to score if we want to give ourselves the best chance to win this game.
All right, Donovan, going down to Mount Carmel, like we said, how do you expect the environment to be tonight?
I think it's going to be real loud, just a bunch of people. It's going to be a hard-fought environment.
All right, when you control the game with time possession, Johnny, how big does that to helping your chances to win?
You know, I mean, like I said, with how important it is to play our game, you know, methodically marching down the field and taking time off the clock and keeping the ball in our hands is definitely going to help us give a chance to win this game, and we just got to score every time we get the ball.
All right, they're going to head down to Mount Carmel tonight for #1 ranked Mount Carmel. Donovan Day and Johnny Weber. Next up, we got Legal Lowdown.
Speaker McCarthy just recently announced an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. So can you tell us first the main reasons why McCarthy is starting this inquiry?
Really, since the Republicans took the majority in the House of Representatives in the 2022 elections, they've been investigating Biden. It's been informal, and I guess an informal impeachment inquiry up to this point. McCarthy's announcement just makes it a more formal process.
Can you tell me what Mr. McCarthy is accusing President Biden of that requires an impeachment inquiry? So is this somehow related to Hunter Biden? Can you talk more about that?
So the big event goes back to when Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. His son Hunter Biden was a stockholder in Burisma, which is a Ukrainian oil company that was being investigated by the Ukrainian government. Vice President Biden put pressure on the Ukrainian president at the time to dismiss the national prosecutor who was investigating Burisma. Biden was not alone in doing this. A number of envoys from the European Union also were pressuring Ukraine at the time to fire this prosecutor for not doing enough to root out corruption. Most of the accusations of wrongdoing are targeted at Hunter Biden, that he was trading on the Biden name, that he was profiting, not just Hunter Biden, other members of the Biden family as well, but that they've used the Biden name to get access to foreign business contracts. There's so far no hard evidence connecting any of that to the actions of President Biden. And so as long as they keep talking about things like the Biden crime family, which is a phrase that Donald Trump throws around a lot or you hear a lot, it's not necessarily letting Joe Biden off the hook, but it also isn't any hard evidence that President Biden has done anything wrong.
Can you tell me about the kind of pressures that Mr. McCarthy is going under to carry out this inquiry?
Yeah, so if you remember back in January when the Republicans were choosing their Speaker of the House, it was a drawn-out process, much more dramatic than the process typically is. And so McCarthy owes a certain debt to that far right, the Freedom Caucus of the Republican Party. And I think they're the ones who are really pushing McCarthy to make this an official impeachment inquiry. A number of Republican senators have spoken out against it, that they just don't think politically it makes sense. I think the American public views impeachment as something that should be reserved for extreme cases. But if we just do it to every president we don't like because we're in the other party, the other political party, I think the American public isn't going to receive that warmly, and I think that's the concern of a lot of Republicans.
A lot of students might be kind of confused about the impeachment process. I'm sure you've handled questions about that. So could you talk about what that looks like and how this inquiry plays into that?
Yeah, I think one of the important misconceptions that a lot of people have is that impeachment actually means removal from office. What the Constitution lays out is that the House of Representatives is responsible for filing articles of impeachment, which is just an accusation of wrongdoing. That accusation is then put before the Senate, who conducts a trial. If the Senate votes with a 2/3 supermajority, they can convict the person who's accused of wrongdoing and remove that person from office. So when we say 3 previous presidents have been impeached, Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton, and Trump, all 3 of them were impeached by the House of Representatives, but were acquitted in their trial before the Senate. Again, I don't know that Republicans even have the votes in their caucus, the requisite number of Republicans to pass articles of impeachment in the House of Representatives. Certainly Biden would not be convicted in the Senate and removed from office.
And do you think that impeachment will become a strategy that we'll see a lot more in upcoming years? So is this going to happen again?
I guess I hope not. The opinion of the Founding Fathers about impeachment is kind of confusing. The phrase that the Constitution uses for federal officials can be impeached for bribery, treason, high crimes, and misdemeanors. That phrase, high crimes and misdemeanors, basically means any sort of wrongdoing that's unbecoming of the office. But I think because it's such a broad umbrella, it really could be used for almost anything.
The New York Times said that McCarthy started this inquiry to, quote, appease far-right lawmakers who have threatened to oust McCarthy if he fails to accede to their demands for deep spending cuts that would force the government into shutdown at the end of September. So is there a possibility of a government shutdown? And if so, what's that going to look like?
Government agencies aren't allowed to spend money unless that money is appropriated by Congress. The current spending bill expires at the end of September. If a new spending bill isn't passed, then yes, we have a government shutdown. Doesn't mean the world stops. Basically, in terms of how it affects the lives of us as residents of Lake County or the greater Chicago area, unless you're applying to get a passport, which those will be delayed, some federal benefits will be delayed. Usually we talk about it hitting Americans when you go to a national park. National parks might be closed, or the restrooms at national parks might be closed. Little things like that. Unless you're a federal government employee, it probably doesn't hit you hard. It is very unpopular with the American public, and typically it's the Congress that gets the blame and not the president. I think McCarthy's aim in making this formal impeachment inquiry is get enough of that Freedom Caucus, the far right, on board to pass a spending bill and avoid a government shutdown. If the government shuts down, that'll affect funding for the impeachment inquiry as well. So, I think McCarthy can use that against them. This impeachment inquiry is something you wanted, give me something I want. So I think that's what we're seeing politics at play.
Good morning, Carmel. I'm Caitlin Drabinski. Attention juniors and seniors, students who qualify for admission to National Honor Society were emailed an application on September 14th. Please note that these applications must be completed and turned in by Monday, September 25th at 3 p.m. Are you interested in STEM here at Carmel or looking into it for college? Please join Google Classroom LD4YU3J, where Miss Major will post opportunities, scholarships, and internships that come her way. This is not a club. There will be no meetings that you need to attend. If you have any questions, see Miss Major in room 503. Next up, we have Round the Roundabout. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, welcome back to Round the Roundabout, the show where we ask questions in the roundabout at the end of the school day. My name is Julia Taylor. We got Mark Fisher on camera. Let's hit it. What president is on the $5 bill?
Abraham Lincoln.
What president is on the $5 bill? Is that George Washington? If you were a dessert, what would you be?
Ice cream.
A milkshake.
A dessert, I'm basic, but chocolate?
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Never.
Ryan, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Every day.
What president is on the $5 bill?
Abe Lincoln. Ain't it Lincoln?
Yeah. If you were a dessert, what would you be?
Ice cream. Chocolate chip.
A dessert? Like a piece of cake. Maybe some ice cream. How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Yesterday.
If you were a dessert, what would you be?
Myself.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Never.
If you were a dessert, what would you be?
Creme brulee.
The Roman Empire.
I am the Roman Empire. What president? Lincoln.
What president is on the $5 bill?
Barack Obama.
Abraham Lincoln. How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Never.
If you were a dessert, what would you be?
Brownie.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
About the Roman Empire. I think about it every day. That's where I'm from.
If you were a dessert, what would you be?
Pie. Apple pie. That's my favorite dessert.
If you were a dessert, what would you be? A sugar cookie. How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Double it and give it to the next person.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Probably like once a week.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Probably like once a week.
If you were a dessert, what would you be?
Chocolate.
Macaroon? Okay, cute. I can actually see that. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Welcome back. Join the newly formed Asian Culture Club at their first meeting on Monday, September 25th after school in the Multicultural Center. Snacks will be provided. Join the Google Classroom for more information with the code MKJGEYK. That's all we have for today. My name is Caitlin Drabinski. Have a feathered Friday, Carmel.